Well, hello and welcome back to our BBC talks. While Venerable is still in India, we keep cycling through the community. So one of the wonderful things that happened this week is our friend Jack here brought some mind training slogans out for us to think about and posted them on the board. And reading them over and over, I remembered one of the very first books I read in Buddhism. It's called The Great Path of Awakening by Jamgon Kongtrul, translated by Ken MacLeod. Some of you may know Ken. He wrote an amazing book called Wake Up to Your Life, which is a combination of Dharma and Western psychology. It's quite good. This is a classic guide to using Mahayana Buddhist slogans to tame the mind and awaken the heart. So that sounds like a good idea. And when you open the first page, I really like the subtitle. It says, The Great Path of Awakening, an easily accessible introduction for ordinary people. So I thought that might be, maybe that means we can get it. So there are many mind training instructions, and they're very pithy sayings that you can memorize and then just keep with you. And that's the intention of them, to take, as I understand it, a profound piece of the Dharma, put it into a slogan literally, and then you memorize it and you carry it with you. And when the circumstances arise that will be helpful, boom, it's there for you. So I'm gonna use whatever BBC talks I have to slowly go through part of this book. And I picked this section called The Transformation of Adverse Conditions into the Path of Awakening. And the reason is, as Venerable Jigme was teaching last night in the Thursday night teachings, we're essentially always in adverse conditions as long as we're in cyclic existence. Even maybe we're even in more danger was one of the pieces I picked up last night, when we think we're not in adverse conditions, when we think it's all peachy keen and I'm sitting with my ice cream on the couch watching my favorite whatever with my favorite person. We might be tottering on the edge of the cliff a little more than usual. So Jamgon Kongtrul talks about this being concerning carrying practice right into everyday life. Now there's a word in this pith instruction that I don't like called evil. So I always retranslate evil to suffering. So just because evil doesn't work for me, I grew up, you know, seriously Catholic. And when the word evil comes, you just put a D on, and then you've got the devil. you got a lot of problems. So, so I always retranslate evil in my mind, because evil really, what I think they're getting at, is the suffering that we cause. So, so I'm going to retranslate that word. I guess I'd have to talk to Ken about that one. When suffering fills the world and its inhabitants, change adverse conditions into the path of awakening. Wow. Easy to say, hard to do. But I'm going to actually read this next paragraph. When your world is full of the pain and suffering that are the fruition of evil, so the fruition of, you know, that we've caused the suffering, when prosperity and wealth are diminishing, troublesome people create difficulties and so on, you must change the adverse conditions in which you find yourself into the path of awakening. So we have to use these to wake up. It's kind of great because they're around all the time. So it's like, you know, hey, you know, I can use this and I can use that and I can use that and I can use that. But we have to get that orientation towards it. He goes on, there are 3 ways to make this transformation. To rely on relative bodhicitta, so that's going to be the mind of compassion, You know, the mind of bodhicitta that wishes to become awakened for the benefit of all beings. And then ultimate bodhicitta, which is the way, the view of the world that we have this bizarre view that there's a me, there's a you, it's all solid. This constantly causes our suffering. And then on special practices. So here's the first slogan. I mean, well, the first one is, when suffering fills the world and its inhabitants, change the adverse conditions into the path of awakening. Okay, how do we do this? Here's the next sub one. Drive all blame into one. This, when I first read it, I thought it meant me. This is what we usually do. I'll drive all blame into my enemy over there, or I'm going to drive all blame into me. No, this is not the meaning of this. So again, I'm going to read the instruction, or the comment. Whether you are physically ill, troubled in your mind, insulted by others, bothered by enemies and disputes, in short, whatever annoyance, major or minor, comes up in your life or affairs, don't lay the blame on anything else, thinking, oh, such and such caused this or that problem. Rather, you should consider, and here's the quote, this mind grasps at a self where there is no self. From time without beginning until now, it has, in following its own whims in samsara, isn't that a great phrase? This mind has just followed its own whims in samsara, perpetrated various non-virtuous actions. All the sufferings I now experience are the results of those actions. All of them. That's all that's happening. No one else is to blame. This ego-cherishing attitude is to blame. I shall do whatever I can to subdue it. So just feel that there. I shall do whatever I can to subdue it. It's been leading me around. Venerable uses the ancient analogy, the donkey by the nose. You know, we just put the ring in our nose and off we go, you know. What are we following? Blaming this one, this ego-cherishing attitude. Then there's one more quote I'll do today and then do more at another time. Skillfully and vigorously direct all dharma at ego clinging. So really go to the bottom and get out the roots of this. Shantideva writes in Entering the Way of Awakening, what troubles there are in the world, how much fear and suffering there is. If all of these arise from ego clinging, what will this great demon do to me? We should be afraid of this self-centeredness. We really should. And Shantideva goes on 4 lines. For hundreds of lives in samsara, this has caused me trouble. Now I recollect all my grudges and shall destroy you, you selfish mind. So that's what we're trying to do. And, you know, for myself, my own experience is this confusion often comes up. And I mistake the self-centeredness for my good conventional self and get them like this, all mixed up together. And I can feel again, oh, I'm blaming myself, so I should be easy on myself, so I'll let myself do this, and then I'm putting the ring in my nose again, and down the road I'm going. So it's really a task for us to meditate and get clear. The self-centered mind is not our friend. It's over here, and that's the one we want to drive all the blame into, the blame for the suffering, and really stop following it around. It's not our friend, okay? All right, let's keep going together. Thank you.